Hi there, Dave Levine here. Thanks for joining me for today's reflections from a people developer and a podcast host. It's Monday, the 7th of June, and it's been a week or so since I recorded under reflections, and that's been quite purposeful. It was a half-term break here, so my children were on holiday, and I was also quite conscious about trying to take a bit of a break from the sort of normal routine last week. I did work, so I did have a couple of days work, but I didn't work solidly. I also had a couple of days off for my own well-being and tried to sort of clear my head and just break the routine a little bit and get a bit of a balance back in terms of what I'm doing with the home and family, as well as just keeping a little bit of work bubbling along. So quite consciously decided to take a break from the reflections and break that habit really. And partially also to see what it's like to re-establish the habit and see if I could get back into the routine of collecting my reflections at the end of a working day, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing here and now. Anyway, on to today's reflections at the beginning of a busy working week. It's been a really stimulating, varied, interesting and thought-provoking day, I think is the way I would summarise that. I know that sounds quite a lot and quite complex. Started off the day with a face-to-face meeting, which was really kind of exciting actually, just to go and meet somebody in person and just re-establish the routines and the rhythms and what that involves, which is just a little bit different. Took a little bit more effort and energy, but you can have a different sort of conversation, which is kind of the experience I had and wanted. So it was lovely to do that. But there was also an element of check and challenge both ways. It felt very equal and balanced. And the individual I was working with is a challenging individual in the sense of he asks posing questions, wants me to share my views and thoughts, and not just toe the party line really. So it's good. It keeps me on my toes, and I have to dig quite deep. So a pleasurable meeting there to get me going. And I really feel that I added some value. And apologies if you're picking up the dog barking in the background, but he's just having a bit of one of those times. So anyway, let me carry on. My reflections move on to the work I did when I returned. So the work I did this afternoon had a conversation or an onboarding event with UK Sport for a lot of work around their high performance leadership development program and leadership development framework. So hearing their principles and their vision for the future was really exciting. I've worked for them for quite some time now, and I'm really keen to see how they've evolved their way of working and how things will come alive going forward. So exciting times, and I just hope that all the work that they're putting into and the vision that they presented comes to fruition, and that's my lived experience. So there's something for me about again, sort of practicing what you preach and proving what you say is what you're going to do. And then as a kind of just finishing off the description of my day, had a very good conversation with somebody who's proving to be a kind of a critical friend, a critique of the Sports Stories podcast, and has also been one of my guests, but I think really gets what I'm trying to do and where I'm coming from. So I really value his insight, his thought, his constructive feedback, and he's invited me on to be a member of the Duty of Care, UK Coaching's Duty of Care steering group board. So it gave me an opportunity to really position myself and think about who I am, what I offer, having been invited onto that board, and really wanting to make sure that this is an opportunity just not to say things and tick boxes, but really try and make a difference. It's also challenged me in a sense of working with somebody else, working with other organisations that might be in a similar space to the work I'm doing with the Sports Stories and the Sports Stories podcast and leadership program. So collaboration in a constructive way is something I'm needing to be trusting in this. So it's pressing on some deep values here, given my previous experiences in relationships and the way I've kind of been burnt. But I do solemnly believe that if I can work well with others, that both myself and the broader system can benefit. So that theme of collaboration's come through from all of my meetings this afternoon. So it's something that resonates with me. It's close to my heart, but I want to make sure that I don't lean towards the side of being that sort of helper of others at the detriment of me, and being able to recognise the value and the worth that I bring to the party. So busy day, and it's just been wrapped up by a head of coaching contact me late this evening wanting me to offer some further feedback. And I'm recognising now that my value in terms of offering insight and feedback to others is great, and the true coach comes out in me in terms of offering some real positive feedback in terms of how things are going and where the journey has led others, but also leaving a gem in a sense of what's next and where the individual can go forward. So leaving a little bit of a challenge in there for the future, which is something I guess is becoming very much part of my DNA. So that's me done for today. Another busy and varied day tomorrow with sort of meetings around development programs, and also recording my 50th podcast, which I'm really excited about. And I've got high hopes that the conversation really lives up to the hopes I have for it. And I'm really hoping that the individual enjoys it, as well as shares what will be of some great value to himself, but also to the listening audience, and also sort of wraps up the half century for the Sports Stories podcast. So over and out, and I'll catch up again with you in the next day or so. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye for now.